What up, sports fans? Welcome to a new week and a new episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast presents Sports Breakers. I'm one of your hosts, Juan. I am joined by the other, Craig.
What up?
Man, we are on the heels of probably one of the biggest video game trailers of all the times. Let's talk about it. It's been like 10 years in the making, the NCAA football video game. Let's just jump right into it. Why waste any time? I know that's what everybody wants to hear out there. The trailer just dropped today. Cover dropped yesterday. We're officially also less than 100 days away from college football in person.
Yeah.
Are you? Is your college football senses tingling? Like, are you sensor overload already?
No, I try not to get too hyped about it too soon because I know if I start to amp myself up, it feels like the wait gets a little bit longer. So I try to just keep it out of my brain, don't even think about it, because if you really start to get in and get in that grind of digging into college football and figuring out, what do you think is going to happen and digging into matchups and, so on and so forth. The days kind of go on and grind, and it just seems like it takes longer and longer. So I'm thankfully the Thunder in the playoffs. I don't know how for much longer, but I'm just trying to.
We'll get into that for sure.
Thankfully, there's a lot of stuff going on that I'm able to enjoy. Like I said, hockey, softball, baseball. All of those are going to really start ramping up today, actually, as softball is going through their regionals. So a lot of stuff going on. But definitely once this game hits, it's going to be July 19th.
You can pre-order now. I'm here to tell you guys, don't listen to Craig. I'm buying into the sensory. My tingles are.
I'm tingling. I'm just saying. I'm trying to suppress it a little bit because
I can't suppress it, man. Especially seeing that beautiful NCAA cover. Seeing the screenshots today. I'm hyped, man. Even though there has been some negativity right now, I've seen about how people are like the athletes.
Going to be a reskin Madden.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that already about how some of the people say it looks just like Madden. But you know what? Even when we got the little college football preview in the Madden a few years ago, even though that looked just like Madden and that was Madden,
it was Madden.
I was fine.
I did not care. Nope.
Yeah, nope. I didn't care at all either.
Nope. I've said this jokingly to a few people, but it's 100% correct. If Madden was free this year, I would still not play it. I'm pre-ordering NCAA. Probably going to get it digitally, just because of how much I'm going to play it. It's not a game that I'm going to go resell. I don't want to have to sit there and change the disc in and out. It's just give it to me digitally. Let me play it.
So you're not buying the Ultimate Football Edition where you get Madden and NCAA in the bundle?
I'm not touching Madden this year, and unless the ability to transfer,
like win ears over into Madden.
Yeah, we'll see. But unless that you're able to transfer and draft those players to Madden, and the experience is really good, and there seems to be something different with Madden, which I'll try the 10-hour trials that they allow the EA users to play with. If the games are even remotely similar, I've waited 11 years for this video game.
So
there's no way I'm going to play the other one.
Let's say the pre-orders here, you buy it, and the sounds are just like Saturdays. The sounds are college football, but the look is college football, but the exact gameplay is just Madden. Are you still going to be okay with everything?
For the most part, yeah. Just because like, yes, I'll be a little disappointed that they went away from the physics based gameplay into the animation. But at the end of the day, I enjoy the NFL. I'm not a diehard NFL person by any stretch of the imagination. I live and breathe college football. Like, there is nothing better than college football. It's the greatest sport on our planet. The differences between teams, the differences between the pageantry and traditions, the atmospheres, the crowds, the towns, the stadiums. There's nothing like college football anywhere in the world. And I think having the ability to go in and see Oklahoma Stadium new and updated in 4K, going in and seeing Texas Stadium new and updated in 4K, Kyle Field, Clemson, Alabama.
So you're saying the sights and sounds of the game is enough to save it from the Madden gameplay?
So I'm not particularly like, yes, it kind of sucks that the Madden gameplay has been kind of the similar the last couple of years, but it's going to be the fact that it's surrounded by college
Feels.
feels.
I
Like,
gotcha.
it's the feels are more important to me than anything. If they nail the pageantry of college football, the sights, the sounds, the feel, I could care. I won't say I could care less. You still need to put some thought and meaning into the gameplay. But if it's Madden with everything college football on top of it, give it to me. I don't care.
And see, I think that's where Madden has gone wrong the last 10 years. Is that I would appreciate Madden a lot more if every, whether it's exhibition, online, or franchise game, felt more like an actual
Game
NFL
day.
game
Yeah.
day. Like
Yeah.
like when I think the last true Madden I really enjoyed was probably Madden
It's been a
'08,
while.
either
It's been a
Madden
while.
'08 or it was one of the ones where it just like every single home team you played with, it felt like a different game.
Yeah.
I
It
think it
was
was
when they had the CBS broadcast crew.
yeah, I think it was '08 or
Yeah.
'09, the one with Vince Young on the cover. Honestly,
Vince Young would be '08.
yeah.
You know.
So I really do wish Madden would maybe hopefully. I think the only reason they do this is if the NCAA sales skyrocket and the Madden sales tank.
And let's be honest, I think they probably did this Madden bundle with NCAA to try and boost sales. I don't think it's going to be enough. I With how long NCAA has been gone, yes, there's going to be Madden sales, but you're going to take essentially 50% of the player base that was on Madden, and they're going to touch NCAA, and they're never going to touch Madden again for this year. Madden sales will probably be down drastically initially. People probably pick it up, near Black Friday or Christmas. But come summertime, NCAA is going to be selling Madden 2, possibly 3 to 1, in my opinion.
I'm
Just,
excited.
just because of the hiatus.
The trailer was fun. I really appreciated the Guns N' Roses song.
It
Um,
was cool how they mixed it with the band and the drum
yeah,
line, and they kind of um, when Chris Fowler comes in and he's talking about it's not just another game, and the planes are coming through, and Florida's going through the tunnel. Everything looked so crisp, and I know it's not actual game footage, but at the end of the day, that is the engine. That's some of the cutscenes that you'll see and feel. And if they just do this game justice, they don't have to go above and beyond and make this game the best game of all time. If they just do this game justice, which it seems like they have with how much time they've put into it, and it's not super buggy and it's not just a complete failure of a game, I'm going to be happy 110%. And I will probably play this game and stream this game and build a dynasty. And I don't want to try. I'll try Ultimate Team. I'm not going to get too caught up in it because I think Ultimate Team is just a money grab. Um,
I'm a huge lover of everything Dynasty mode, so I really hope Dynasty mode comes back with a vengeance, man.
Yeah,
I used to enjoy some of those Dynasty modes.
and that's another thing. Like, I hope that they put just as much thought into the game modes that don't require you to pay extra money, like Ultimate Team. That's been the biggest gripe with Madden is yeah, they put all this thought and effort into Ultimate Team, and they've left franchise and Dynasty, just kind of on the back burner. Um, Online Dynasty is going to be extremely popular, especially because there are so many teams. It's 128 compared to 32
Yep.
in teams. Um,
And then it's going to be interesting in Dynasty to see how the transfer portal works,
yeah,
the college
the
football playoff,
NIL.
the college playoff brackets. It's
Yeah.
there's gonna be a lot to dig into, man. So hopefully it's
I'm
let's
calling off July 19th. I said it kind of jokingly, and people were kind of like, "You're not really gonna watch me, bro." Like this, people don't. If you're a say 20-year-old that listens to this podcast, the last time this game came out, you were 9. You probably didn't. Parents were buying you video games. You might not have gotten it. Um, and you've just kind of grown up on Madden. This game means so much more to people like us than Madden did because of the tournaments that we did with our friends. I saw somebody on Twitter said anybody who's under the age of 22 has to. It's an initiation. You have to go in and put all the names on the jerseys. Like, I mean, it's just like you spent hours upon hours on release day to put those in, and
I would get the AP College Athlon
yep,
football magazines,
the
so I had
magazines.
everybody's name on the roster, and
You
I
started with the
would.
top 25,
Yep.
and then if there was ever a team that wasn't in the top 25, like Miami or
Or,
somebody who we knew that used that team, you would go in and do it, and
or if it was
if
like a real famous team that just wasn't ranked,
yeah,
yeah,
and it completely changes the feel of the game when you're playing with Colt McCoy
yeah,
and Quan Cosby instead of wide receiver
11.
11 and quarterback 12. It completely changes the feel, and to be able to have that in the game from the start, the sights, the sounds, everything's going to be 4K and updated because I have 14. I've been playing it. The NCAA revamped the mods, and the creators of that stuff have been really good and have done that game justice. And they've kind of carried the torch, so to speak, for those people to bridge the 11-year gap between games. But it's going to be a little bit different with this one, just because it's an actual team and dev team putting thought and getting licensing from people to be able to put into this game. So yeah, I don't think I've for years, as soon as they announced that this was coming back, this
If
day
they
just felt like it was never going to come, and now it's almost
obviously
here.
obviously they're about to see the sales of this thing just skyrocket, but do you think there's also any chance that this is like, okay, let's think about college basketball. Let's think of a Sweet 16 game.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I think with if this game brings in the amount of money that I would assume is going to bring in, I mean, let's be honest. When NCAA football was coming out in 2008 to 2000, we'll say 2006 to 2014, that 8-year span, you probably weren't getting 30-year-olds playing that game. Now you have an entire generation of people who have missed the last 11 years, 19 to 30, 21, 22 to 34 or whatever. But you're going to have that entire fan base from 30 to 40 still playing these games because they were playing those games as kids and then missed the 10 years, and they're going to buy this game. And you have an entire generation coming in that's probably never played an actual NCAA game because of how expensive 14 became. I think sales are going to be pretty good for this game.
sitting back and thinking about it, man, I was only 24 when that last game came out.
Yeah,
I'm sitting here thinking, like, man, it feels a lot longer than just. I feel like I was in my teens the last time that game came
yeah.
out.
When you sit there and think about, because I've done this when I'm thinking about what all has happened between that game and this game. Um, we've gone through Obama, Trump. We're on Biden now. We've gone through um, dating to now married with a child, two kids of your own. Um, I was living in my parents' house. Now you have your own house. Um, just the amount of time between the games of like having that actual fresh release date. Because it's cool to be able to go back and play those games, um, but it's not a new experience. And every summer you would have that new experience. Like what's that?
You
What's that main menu going to look like? What's that?
yep. What's the soundtrack gonna
What's the
be?
soundtrack going to be? Are they doing music this year, or are they sticking with drum lines and all that stuff? Which,
I always appreciated the drum lines.
yeah, it's just the actual bands and everything playing in the background music. I think that's what separates college from Madden is you have that pageantry and the drum lines and everything in the menu, and it just feels like
But
Saturday
I'm
every
I'm
time you
not
start
gonna
that game.
I'm not gonna lie. The I think it's like NCAA '04 to '06 when they had a nice little soundtrack. That was pretty legit
Yeah,
too,
it
though.
did, it did, but um,
You
you
have a
know, I
favorite you have a favorite cover athlete?
the most iconic in my eyes is NCAA '07 with Reggie Bush.
What?
Just because that not just the cover, but the game itself had the whole momentum bar, the way you were playing. I mean, that was peak college football. You had Brady Quinn at Notre Dame, you had Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, all that stuff coming into that game. I believe that was those people with Reggie Bush going out. It might have been a little bit different, but
Oh no, it was '06 was their last game.
yeah,
NCAA '06.
but just the man, people don't understand what that game meant to us as kids, and for it to be gone because somebody complained about them using their name or their likeness when they used quarterback 15 or whatever. It's just kind of sucks, man. Kind of sucks that somebody was that willing to be a Karen that it took it to court and it kind of ruined them being able to do the game. I'll never forgive them, whoever did it. If
I
I ever
gotta
meet
tell
them,
you,
they'll get a cold one to the face.
even though technically, like Texas's Vince Young era was over by the time this game came out, I would have to say '08 was probably that was a pretty solid game.
Yeah, and I mean, people have ranked the games. I know a lot of people really like 13 and 14 because of the dynasty, and obviously 14 was the last one. Um, the one that I know I said I liked '07, but the
'07 was a
one I
good one.
remember, the best one I remember is either 9 or 11. I believe 11 had Tim Tebow.
Yeah, 12 had Mark Ingram on it.
The 2011, I just remember playing online on the Xbox 360.
11 was a good one too. I forgot. Yeah, that was that. Yeah, that was a good cover
That was one
too.
of the first. That was one of the first ones where online was really popping off, where you could play head to head, and you had a lot of people on there.
Do you remember in '09 or 10? I can't remember which one it was. There might have been a few years together where, depending on what system you had a different player on it.
Cover, yeah, that was '09. You had Michael Crabtree, Matt Ryan.
If you had
College had the
the PS2 version got Brian Arakpo, which I was pissed off about.
yeah, because PS3 was Matt Ryan,
Yeah.
and then 360 was Crabtree.
Yep.
And then yeah, NCAA 10, you had the Utah quarterback.
Was it
Uh,
Andre Ware?
is that who that was?
Andre Ware, I think.
Yeah. best video game trailer for these. Do you remember?
I don't remember the trailer.
You remember 2011? I think it was 2011 or 2009 that had the tick tick boom with the hives.
Oh yeah, that was I think that
That
was.
one, that
Yep.
one was so hype. Let's see, which one was that? 2010, 2010. The E3 trailer came out, and it was the hives tick tick boom. And it's not the greatest song, but just the everything can it was hype, man. And I'm really excited for the kids that were never able to experience college football coming out. I'm really excited for them to be able to pop it in and do it for the first time, because it's an experience you'll never forget, especially if you do it with kids and you're going to football practice, you're coming home, you take a shower, you're hot and sweaty, friends come over.
So are you gonna get the physical copy since it's the first one back, or are you just gonna do digital?
I'll probably do. I'm doing digital because I'm going to play the ever living crap out of it. Like it's. I really hate digital, but for games like Madden and 2K, where I know it's not one that will necessarily be, like if it's a Marvel game or something, I'll get the hard copy. A Zelda game, I'll get the hard copy of those for sure, because eventually it's a collector's item, it's resellable. But for this one, I'll probably get the digital, and then if it ever goes on sale to be like 10-15 bucks, I might get the hard copy, keep it sealed maybe. So
That makes sense. I might do that just for Black Friday. It won't be 10 or 15, but it'd probably be 30.
yeah. But digital I can also console share with, in my household. you know what I mean. But yeah, dude, it's nothing better than college football, man. I'll tell you that.
Well, from one happy mood to
Wah,
another,
wah. I know where we're going. Yeah.
the NBA playoffs, man, is tomorrow the Thunder's season finale.
Um, I don't know. The Thunder have gotten cold, man. I think they have gotten stagnant. I think
You think they were overlooking Dallas and think it was going to be a walk in the park?
no, because I mean you can't overlook Dallas. Luka's a walking triple double. He's essentially what Russ was a couple years ago. He hasn't had as many, but he's still very capable of doing so. He controls the game. Period. He's been a little hurt this series, last series, this entire playoffs, but the Thunder's young. They're naive. That could be good or bad. It could be naive as in if you keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. I think like it's if you do the same thing over and over expecting a different result, you're insane or something like that. That's the quote. But it can either be that or it could be, we're just in a funk and we're going to play out of it. I think they have the right attitude to be able to go in there and win game 6. It's just I think Jalen Williams said, we're doing everything right. The shots just weren't falling. So I actually wasn't able to watch game 6. I was at a concert or game 5. But, if it is their last game, it is what it is. They're a young team. I don't want to say that lightly, because we all saw how we've seen how quickly teams can fall apart. It just takes one trade in the offseason for a team to not be the same. But if it is their last game, it was a fun year. It was a year where they exceeded expectations. It's probably been one of the funnest teams to watch as a Thunder fan, just because of how good they were as a team. There was really no ISO ball, even though there were at times ISO ball with Shea, but it was just a fun team, man. There's really no drama. Nobody really hated each other. Trey Mann got traded to the Charlotte Hornets, came back to a game and supported them in the playoffs. it's a true brotherhood here. So like I said, fun to watch. If it is their last game, cool. If not, live the fight on for Game 7, and hopefully we can make it to that next round. But
Who do you have? The Eastern Conference Finals are almost set, right? Game 7 is tomorrow between. Uh,
Knicks and Pacers are playing tonight at 7,
okay, that's the Game 7 then, right?
and that is at Game 5. So this is Game 6. If the Knicks win tonight, it's over. If the Pacers win, it goes to Game 7 on Sunday. Um, the game's been it's been hard to kind of look at. I would like to think Indiana's going to come out with their hair on fire, but Jalen Brunson is that dude, man. He's really good. I'll say just for the sake of having a Game 7, give me Indiana tonight, but
I can't believe Minnesota Denver went to Game 7.
blew them out by 45
Yeah.
after it looked like Denver, as Draymond put it, took everything out of them, and they didn't want none. They were done. So to see them be able to bounce back like that, it gives me a little hope for Oklahoma City. It looks like they've been dead in the water, and then Denver's able to come, or Minnesota's able to do that and put out a 45-point win. So hopefully we can do the same.
It'd be nice. Boston advanced to the conference finals for what, the second or third year in a row,
Like 4th year in a row.
and then so who do you got going? Who do you got them playing? You got the Knicks going on, or
give me the Knicks, just because they'll be at home Game 7 if the Pacers do win tonight. So give me the Knicks moving on. So Boston, New York, and then give me this is a tough one, because technically Minnesota has all the momentum after that 45-point win. Give me Denver to move on to the Western Finals.
Who do you got in the West? Denver and
give me Oklahoma City. I'm gonna stick with it, man.
oh,
I said it before the year. They'd be in the Western Conference Finals. I know a lot of people didn't expect them to be, but I have a post on Facebook that said they would be, so I'm sticking with it.
Man, I think I'll go the same in the East. I'll go Boston, New York. I think I'm just gonna have to pick. I'm gonna go Dallas, Denver in the West.
Denver. Can't hate it. They're
the two brothers' names in Four Christmases with Vince Vaughn.
Yeah,
Dallas and Denver.
The sports kids, yeah. Which is I recently just watched that movie. That's funny.
That is funny.
When you do the podcast, can we go play with my Tassie?
We'll see. Will you please help out?
NFL schedule came out. Also, we can talk a little bit about that before we get out of here. The NFL schedule. We're not worried about preseason. We're worried about the actual week. Kansas City Chiefs, defending, reigning NFL World Champions, Super Bowl champions. Kansas City Chiefs open up against the Baltimore Ravens, Week 1, September the 5th. A little too early to talk regular season, or are you hyped?
Like I said, I'm a college guy, man. With this game coming out, NFL's kind of like it's there, but it's not there. I peeked at the schedule. There's a few games I'm excited for. I think the NFL putting the Jets versus San Fran Game 1, kind of doing the Jets dirty a little bit. Just because, like, dude, it's Aaron Rodgers, and I don't know if they have a hit out on him or not, but you're giving him the toughest defense he might see all year, Week 1, on that repaired ankle. So
I would love to see Aaron Rodgers, and I've been on record of saying I hate his fucking guts, but I would like to see Aaron Rodgers go out Week 1 and just pick apart that 49er defense. I want to see him throw for 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, and I want to see Aaron Rodgers do Aaron Rodgers things. I think he deserves it. I think the city deserves it. The organization does.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I think the head coach deserves it because I think he's a super underrated defensive coach.
Is that still Saleh?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, the Jets have been there defensively. They've been there. They just haven't had a good quarterback, any good consistent offense to be able to, help them stay off the field.
And
So
it's been the same talk 10 years ago. You look at the teams that they had with Rex Ryan. Oh, they went to the AFC Championship 2 years in a row. Couldn't get over the hump because they had Mark Sanchez.
yeah,
10 years later, it's like the same thing. Great defense. Now they finally got Rodgers. You know,
and
I'd
they've
like,
picked up some good pieces in
yeah.
the offseason. So yeah, I agree with you. I'm not a big Rodgers guy, but you want to put him up against the 49ers week one. I would like to see that as well. No offense against the 49ers, but it does feel like there's a bit of a hit out on Rodgers for maybe some of the stances he has. But
Philadelphia Eagles fans are doing what they do best, and that's cry, because week one they play the Packers in Brazil.
no,
And
not the Packers. Oh
yeah,
yes, the Packers. You said
yeah.
We're talking about Aaron Rodgers, and yeah, it just
Oh no.
immediately, yeah,
um, you know what? I hate Green Bay, but I would like to see Green Bay just blow it up. I want to see all that
the,
momentum that
the
they
Jordan
had from,
Love.
yeah, all that momentum that they had from destroying Dallas. Do the same thing to Philly. I want to see that.
Yeah, there was a couple other games that week one I was interested in. Let's see.
Week one, you also have Texans at Colts. Play the final week of the matchup. This is a rematch. Um, New England at Cincinnati. Dallas at Cleveland is
Yeah,
interesting.
that's interesting. LA at Detroit, the Rams
Give me
at
Detroit
Detroit.
by 10.
Those tickets are $258, by the way, on ESPN. Green Bay at Philadelphia in Sao Paulo, $1,200. So
Week one kind of looks like a snoozer. Like I said, you got the Monday night game, which is Jets and
yeah,
49ers, but
as
there's
far
not
as
that.
names go, there's nothing that really like. There's no real rivalries or anything out here that's popping out.
It'd
Nobody
be
who traded teams that are,
it'll be interesting to see just some storylines like Arizona at Buffalo. Buffalo's completely redone. Let's see how are they going to look. I think a lot of people are going to be interested to see how Chicago looks at home.
yeah.
Um,
Honestly, if I'm looking at this list, as far as like normal games throughout the day, Dallas, Cleveland, I think really intrigues me. But Houston, Indianapolis, is CJ Stroud going to stay hot? How's Anthony Richardson coming back from injury? Are the Texans going to be able to sustain what they had last year? It is a divisional game, so
yeah,
a
that's
lot of
that's
stake
a
there.
that's a big game for them as well. Yeah. Uh,
I think is that the only divisional game? Yeah, Vegas Raiders and Chargers divisional game. But yeah, other than that, that's the only two divisional matchups.
oh, you got the Raiders and the Chargers.
That's what I said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but if I were to, I mean, if we're looking at it for regional TV, 12 o'clock on Fox, we will probably get that New Orleans Carolina game.
We'll get the
Um,
Dallas game for sure, but that's probably going to be a CBS game.
Dallas on Fox at 3:25, so we'll get that instead of Tampa. And then as far as CBS goes, we will probably get Chicago, Tennessee, just because they want that to be a national with Caleb Williams. Um, it'll be a fun week one. I mean, any football will be great football week one. As we always say, there's only 3 preseason weeks this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the first time?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, yeah, like I said, any football will be great football. Thursday, September 5th will be the first game for that. And then for college football, I had printed it out Um,
Week
sorry.
one, you got a lot of good games. Week one kicks off August 24th, 11 a.m. Florida State at Georgia Tech. Um, August 29th, looks like everybody else kicks off, which is that Saturday, I believe.
Sorry, what are you talking about? College
College football.
football?
That's Friday, I think.
Yeah, so week one,
Oh no, Oklahoma plays Friday. Never mind.
Oklahoma plays on Friday. ESPN offered it to, I think they offered it to OU in Texas, and OU took it.
And then that
Um,
Saturday is August 31st. Clemson opens up at Georgia. I'm surprised that's not a night game.
does it have the
11
time
a.
on it?
It's an 11 a.m. game.
That weekend it is?
Yep, August 31st.
Who is broadcasting it? Does it say?
It is ABC.
That is very interesting.
Well,
Well,
because
because
CBS doesn't do the SEC anymore.
yeah, it's still it's not ESPN, but
South Dakota State looks like they're going to beat Oklahoma State.
they're going. Yeah, that's interesting, man. Because between the two matchups, ABC chose Notre Dame, Texas A&M for 6:30 instead of Clemson, Georgia. That's an interesting.
Now, not all the games have times, but the big ones do.
Yeah. Man, I know there was. It's week one, so a lot of teams are playing cupcakes.
Texas is 2:30. That's live on ESPN, and they're only playing Colorado State. But the preseason rankings aren't out yet either. ABC gets Miami, Florida. That's early this year. That's week one.
Yeah, that was the same thing. Oh, Miami, Florida. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I was looking at the schedule. Week 17, not week 17. The last week of the regular season, which is week 14, the 24th. That's rivalry week. So you got the Iron Bowl, Bama, Auburn, Florida State, Georgia Tech, Oklahoma, LSU. I wonder if that's going to turn into a rivalry. Texas A&M. My question is, what's the night game going to be that week? That is a lot of big time.
It says it right here. It's ABC 6:30. Notre Dame, Texas A&M. That's the night
That's
game.
week one.
Oh, okay.
But week 17, just as far as because like you said, SEC is no longer CBS; it's ESPN now. So, first off, what is SEC's premier time slot going to be? Like you said, it was that 2:30. Fox's big noon. So, what is ESPN going to deem as the big primetime game for the SEC?
It looks like it's going to be 6:30. If I had to guess.
So, man, there's just a lot of games. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of games that day, and some of these are going to have to fall to.
Well, it also depends on probably what the record is by the time we get there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, but I mean,
if Auburn is a one-loss team and Alabama's close to being undefeated, I could see that being the night game. If Texas is coming in with just one loss or undefeated and Texas A&M only has 3 losses, that could be a big primetime night game.
Yeah. I mean,
same thing with Notre Dame, USC.
If Oklahoma, somehow able to manage that schedule and has 2 losses, 3 losses, LSU has a couple losses, or they're under, vice versa. Like, there's a lot, dude. Just looking at this final week of the season, Oregon, Washington, Notre Dame, USC, Virginia Tech, Arizona State. Rivalry week is legit this year, just because of new teams and new conferences, old teams.
Except if you're in the Big 12, The only rivalry game that I see that week is Kansas State at Iowa State.
Is that even a rivalry? I feel like it should be Kansas State.
Not that final week. You got
Kansas and Baylor that week,
yeah.
which should be Baylor TCU. Well, let's get it out of the way. Big 12 doesn't know what they're doing, so let's just. It's obvious at this point they don't want to do rivalry week this week, but
it also looks like maybe the Big 12 has taken up that Friday night spot. It looks like that because Friday night you have Utah at UCF, and then I saw a few more weeks in advanced that like Friday night is. It looks like Big 12 night.
yeah, and it's kind of like a double, whatever you call it, with OU starting the season on Friday, but that was by choice. I don't think any of these Big 12 teams want to be playing on Friday, end of the regular season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like the Big 12 knows in order to get prime time televisions with some of these teams, you have to play on Friday. Colorado, Oklahoma State, Utah, UCF, Nebraska,
Man,
Iowa. It's
I'm on week 2 right now, and I'm just closing my eyes, envisioning that Texas at Michigan game.
Going into the big house.
11 a.m. Fox. Oof, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
Yeah, man, it's.
Can it be 2 years in a row that Texas will upset a top 5 team?
Let's be honest, Michigan's probably not going to be very good this year.
Hey, they said the same thing about Alabama. They lost that game, and then Alabama kind of went on a little run. So I'd be okay with that.
Michigan lost quite a bit. Let's be honest.
Hey, it's just going into the big house and
I know
beating the defending national champions.
Yeah. And you know what? They're gonna hype that out all year. Oh,
I can't wait. I can't wait. The same thing happened. What was it? Was it like Colt McCoy's freshman year? Ohio State went in and beat Texas after Texas lost everybody, and that propelled Ohio State's they lived out on that win for the rest of the year, and they eventually went to the national championship. They lost, but that was a big win for Ohio State that year.
I lost to the Florida Gators.
Yeah,
there's
a documentary on that too.
Which, I mean, Urban Meyer had that team ready. They're a bunch of killers on that Florida team.
They were a bunch of killers.
Hey, if they can roast him on Tom Brady's thing, we can.
Did you watch that yet?
I did not. I've seen a lot of clips, though. I've essentially seen it all. So.
Yeah, that's funny. Poor fucking Rob Gronkowski.
I'm extremely interested to just see all the new teams play in the new conferences. We haven't even talked about it. The new ESPN has an entirely new thing for the SEC. Yep. New jingle, new broadcasting, new layout displays for the broadcast TV. So that'll be interesting to see. I wonder who it's going to be. I don't know if it'll be Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit. I mean, it could be, but you would think they would reserve that for ABC at 6:30, but you never know.
Yeah. Speaking of commentators, man, do you think Fox did Greg Olson dirty about taking so much money away from him and putting him down now to the second Fox team? And just Tom Brady hadn't even proven himself yet, but now he's in that lead spot making all that money.
Yeah, I think Greg Olson.
I enjoy his work, dude. He's pretty good guy. I enjoy listening to him talk football.
He's up there, man. You have the Troy Aikman, Joe Buck broadcasting group, which is really good.
They're on ESPN now.
It's they're on ESPN.
They did Monday Night Football all last season.
Right. Yes. Yeah. It's just it could be really good with Tom Brady just because of his knowledge, or it could rub people the wrong way because of how he.
I think he might come off as arrogant.
Cocky. People don't like it. Whereas Greg Olson, he
He's
was
like the guy
good, but
he's like the guy you can go to the bar with and have a beer
yeah,
and talk football.
yeah. He ended up turning out to be a really good commentator. When he started, it was kind of shaky, question mark, but no, he turned out to be easily a top person. And if they're not careful, they might lose him to
Yeah.
a
And
different
his call in the Super Bowl last year was
big
really
time,
good. Yeah.
big time. Yeah.
Something about him and Romo when they talk football, it makes it feel like it's a huge fucking game.
Yeah. They know what they're talking about. They're good calling the game. They have good knowledge. Their chemistry is good. Um, so yes, it's Tom Brady. Yes, the name is there, but like you said, he's unproven. Is he really going to be good? Is he going to come off as arrogant? Is he going to say some stuff where it makes it seem like nobody else is good enough? And that's what you don't want. You don't want somebody who's going to come out there and be like, well, he should have made that throw because this, and this. And it's like, yeah, dude, we get it.
And I enjoy Romo and Jim Nance, but I think it's just a matter of time until somebody steals Romo for a big primetime spot, like whether he goes and works Al Michaels on Sunday Night Football, or God forbid you split up Troy Aikman and Joe Buck, but what if you get Joe Buck and Tony Romo next?
Yeah.
Or a lot of talk for the Prime Video spot on Thursdays. I guess a lot of people don't like the Jim Nance Kirk Herbstreit feel.
Yeah.
I could see, I could see.
Yeah, Kirk Herbstreit's good, but he's college. You know what I mean? When you watch it, you don't really expect him to be on the NFL. Like, I don't have a complaint with it, but I always feel like his voice should be reserved for college football.
Yeah.
It's totally nothing against the guy. It's not like it should be a knock on him or anything, but
It'd be
when I
like if
watch it,
John
I'm
Madden
like,
was calling college football.
yeah, well, couple tiers down.
No way. No, not at all. I'll argue night and day. Kirk Herbstreit is just as good as Madden was calling football, but on the college level.
Okay, maybe not this far, but it's John Madden's voice, like by far.
You sound like you were choking on a
Bro, that's
Thanksgiving Day turkey.
Yeah, the turducken. But you know what I really wish we had? The guy who was always like, "You're looking live. You are looking live." Who was that?
Brad Nessler?
Yeah, I know he got fired because of some weird stuff, if I'm not mistaken.
Are you talking about college?
Yeah.
Might be Brad Nessler. Because I remember, he was a big-time college commentator for the longest time.
I mean, when you say you are looking live,
he was just doing it last year, though, on CBS.
Was he?
Yeah, Brad Nessler. He moved to the SEC.
He did. He just got...
He went from ABC to CBS.
No, that's not who I'm thinking of. Not Brad Nessler. No. The dude with the glasses.
Gus Johnson?
No, he's not black.
Run away with the cop speed.
Which
You don't like Fox?
I will fight tooth and nail to get Gus Johnson and Joe Klatt as a commentator on next year's game, because I think they are vastly underrated as commentator. I absolutely love Gus Johnson.
Dude, do you remember when Gus Johnson was on Madden?
Yeah. 2011, 2012. Yeah. Brent Musburger.
Oh, Brent Musburger. Yeah. What happened to him? Did he die?
No, I don't think he's dead. I think he did something and he got fired.
Probably a racial slur. Yeah, Gus Johnson on Madden. Those were probably the last best years of Madden, honestly.
Yeah.
I love him.
He just retired.
Oh.
Which sucks because, you know what? He doesn't have to be a commentator, but if you play in the Rose Bowl, by God, you got to have him say you are looking live, because when you set it up that way, it's it's as big as any other commentator opening up a game. When you're looking live, like that's who's the guy that does the let's get or no the let's get ready to rumble.
Oh, Michael Buffer
Yeah, just as big as that.
or Bruce Buffer.
Bruce Buffer.
You know what I wish the football games would do is I wish they would do like how wrestling does, and you can choose your commentators for different events. It'd be cool if Madden had like three different two set teams,
Yeah,
and
I
same
think
thing with college.
you'll kind of be able to, depending on what time you set your game to. I think if you do all your games at like 7:30, if you're able to do so, you'll get Kirk Herbstreit and whatever. But um, yeah, they spent 2 years doing new voices and catchphrases and lines and all that stuff, and they have two different casts, so it's not going to feel. It'll end up feeling repetitive sooner or down the road, but it'll be nice to be able to come in and have two different people, two different crews calling those games on that game. But um, man, yeah, what a great day for sports, right?
Yeah,
Am I right?
it'd be
Um,
July can't get here fast enough.
the OG cover is trash though. The one with the three of them.
Oh,
You have a soon to be backup, a guy that was on a 4-8 team, and then a national champion.
you're talking about the current. You're talking about the one where they're facing the camera, or
Yeah,
they're.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
You got a national champion, a guy that was on a 4-8 team, and a soon to be backup.
You think he'll be back up soon?
Arch looked pretty good in that spring game. Now I don't know if it's because that Texas defense is trash, or if he's really good. But um, if Arch does end up being just an absolute stud, I will eat all the crow in the world, because I said he wasn't going to be very good. A lot of people that are on my Twitter said he's not going to be very good, mainly OU fans. But
Well, the thing that's kind of shaky right now is all that talent they got coming in from Alabama and other teams
it's all new.
because of the Nick Saban leaving. What if Quinn Ewers does very well, but it's really the team around him? You know what I mean? Like how are you going to be able to tell? I
Yeah,
guess if he misses some throws, I think a lot of people are expecting him to come out and have a Big 12 championship game week one. 400 yards, 4 touchdowns.
yeah.
I don't
No,
know if I don't know if that happens.
I think the main thing this year is do we have a Spencer Rattler, Caleb Williams type thing? If Texas does lose to Michigan, and you come in and you start to struggle that week 3 game, which you probably won't. I'm not sure who your opponent is, but do people start to call for Arch to play because of how well he did in the spring game?
Yeah.
It's year 2. Quinn's already proven. He's been there. He's proven. People have seen what he can do. But if Arch comes in and plays some decent minutes in the second half of your first game
I
versus whoever, there might be some chatter out there.
I want to know who his advisor is because you win a Big 12 championship for Texas, which they haven't done in years. You get them to the playoff. You go, you
Oh, you're
give
talking about Quinn?
yeah, you give Washington a hell of a game and you prove that you have a big time NFL arm. Who told him not to go pro? That's what I want to know. I don't know if it was
And
I don't know if it's the NIL deal. Maybe he's making a little bit more cheddar at Texas,
yeah,
but if looking at the draft now, he could have been a top 3 quarterback if he had a good pro day.
yeah, yeah.
If he had a
Because
very good pro day and a very good solid throwing combine,
I mean, you look at it. Michael Penix was taken by Atlanta, who already had a quarterback coming in.
he could have went
Drake
over
May fell to
Michael
the
Penix.
Patriots. He easily could have went over Michael Penix and Drake
Yeah,
May
because he's your
at the time of the
standard.
draft.
Yeah, he's your standard style throwing
Yeah.
quarterback, and I think he could have been top 3 easy if he had a very good pro day. So I want to know who was in his ear and telling him to stay.
Which, and it could
Because
be one of those things
you would
where,
you would think the Texas boosters
I made these
would
out of
want
something.
would want Arch Manning to start going into the SEC hey, a Manning is starting into the SEC. We need the SEC crowd, the viewership. So I don't know. You would think that everybody would want to see Manning start year two,
Yeah, and I mean,
unless Texas just threw whatever they could at him because, like, hey, we still think you're the guy to win a natty.
yeah, and I know Arch wore that Texas shirt when he was little, and he's like, I want to go to Texas, blah 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 blah. But at some point, he may be different. He may be cut from a different cloth. But at
He
some
is.
point, you're as a competitor, you got to sit there and say, I'm better than this dude. I
Oh,
want to
yeah.
play. And if you're not saying that as a person of his caliber who came out when he did the like, yes, you came out the same way Quinn did. Quinn was a 5-star, 100%, enrollee. Um, but at some point as a competitor, you got to sit there and say, I'm doing the same stuff, if not more than what he's doing. I showed it on the or on the spring game. Why
I
am I
think
not getting a fair shot at being the starter?
I think with the Mannings being behind him and being in his ear, and looking at how much talent is possibly coming to Texas in the next year or two, I think it's one of those things like, hey, let Quinn win conference championships with the team around him, the team that you'll have around yourself with the next 2 years. Those are national championship caliber
Caliber.
teams.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's in his ear. I think Sark is telling him that. I think, hey, I have a great quarterback here with ears now, but in the next 2 years, we're building to what you can you're going to put yourself in the NFL anyway in the next 2 years.
And let's be honest, he has money.
Oh yeah,
Quinn doesn't have money.
yeah.
So he, Arch is a little bit different because of who his family is, where he can sit there and say, I don't have to, because like you said, he is making every bit, if not more than Quinn in the NIL,
Oh yeah,
which he said he's not accepting it, but let's be real, it's going somewhere.
yeah.
He's getting something. So um, he might be, like I said, cut from a different cloth, and he is willing to wait. But as a competitor, it's got to suck to be able to. You're at Texas, a
But
school where you grew up wanting to go and play for,
I
and
bet
you're not playing.
I bet he's enjoying all the fine dining that Texas has to offer, if you know what I mean.
Sure, Texas isn't that great.
You know what I'm talking about.
I
The
know
when
what you're
when it
talking
comes when it comes to like the first class everything. I'm
about. Oh
sure
yeah,
there's
he's probably getting literally anything. He could probably walk into a bar, run up a tab, and it would be paid for.
no.
You know what I mean? So,
But
hey,
like you said,
and
since he's cut with that Manning cloth, we know he's not the kind of guy that would do stuff like that.
possibly, maybe, I don't know. I
I
don't know,
think
Art.
Yeah, I think Ewers, like I said, I think Ewers is the guy to win us some conference championships. But I think in the next 2 years, I think we have a 2 year gap, a 2 year window to win a national championship. If we don't do it with Arch, I don't think we'll ever do it.
Well,
He's
let's
our
put
he's our Joe Burrow, I think.
let's talk about that for OU and Texas. I think I'm gonna say this. I don't think the SEC understands just how good OU and Texas are. Yes, OU has a brutal schedule, and their record may not show how good they are, but
But these SEC teams, the SEC thinks I really do think I agree with you. They're going to come in thinking that they're just going to walk over both these Big 12 teams.
they think that just because they've been in the SEC and they have all this stuff, I think Sark's offensive mind. I hate Sark. I hate him with every fiber in my being. But dude's smart offensively.
Oh,
He
yeah.
may not. He may have the Riley effect where he doesn't run what he needs to at certain times.
But his
But
adjustment is tremendous,
he's
and he proved that.
offensively he's smart.
Yeah, he proved that in some of the close games.
And I think that OU is finally two, if not three deep at almost every position on defense. And Brent feels really comfortable with who and what he has. I think OU might have a top defensive line in the SEC. Being as deep as we are, we're going to be able to be fresh and rotate. May not be as beefy as some of the others, but I think that we'll be able to continuously put pressure on people.
That's what bothers me. I'm not worried about Texas's beef because I think Texas has plenty of beef even after losing Tavondre Sweat. It's how is experienced as that beef.
Yeah,
Like, are we going out there playing with fresh or is it wagyu? You know?
yeah. And I mean, OU is returning. I think we're top three, top eight in the country in returning defensive percent, like number of snaps played. On top of that, we added Dominic Williams and some other pieces. I think we have another piece that might be coming in pretty soon. Um, yes, yes, Arnold had a rough Alamo Bowl, but he showed flashes. I think he showed a lot of flash. You're able to come back with the exact same receiving core that is better than what you had beforehand. Um, Adding Dion Burks is going to open up a lot underneath because that dude is a home run threat every time the ball snaps. Um, and essentially, you're replacing Drake Stoops with the guy who's running like a 4.4, 4.3 insane route runner. Andrew Anthony, Jalil Farouk, Jaden Gibson, Nick Anderson had like 10 touchdowns last year. The only thing that worries me with OU is how deep and consistent their running back room is, and how good is Bill Bedenbow going to get this offensive line? Because all five starters transferred out. We did get a lot of, a few people in who played at big programs. Michael Tarkin at USC, Spencer Brown from Michigan State, Jake Taylor's coming on. They looked good in spring. It seemed like they were doing their assignments correctly. So just kind of worried on the depth offensively. But as far as I feel really good in the quarterback room. Casey Thompson, his weaknesses, but you also know that he was really pretty decent most of the year as well. And having him as a third string,
you just got to protect him.
Second string or third string, I think that's a good option just in case Arnold gets hurt, which it's the SEC. You never know when somebody's going to go down. But Michael Hawkins is going to be really good as well. I don't think he's a scrub by any means.
Dude, you know what we should do? Since we have this platform, we should go get our media badges and go to two-a-days and training camp. They let us on there.
I don't know how you go about that, but I'd be interested.
I'll look into that this week.
I'd
probably do the same thing, just like how we did Dead Center.
Yeah. Next thing you know, dude, it's going to be late July. We're going to be able to boot up NCAA football, and you're going to have media day. And the taste and smell of fall football is going to be here. And there's nothing like it. Nothing like it.
I can't wait, man. We had a pretty jam-packed show. We talked about an hour.
Quite a bit, yeah.
We may or may not have an episode next week, but I know for sure we'll be back 2 weeks from today, which is May 31st. I'm sure we'll be getting ready to talk NBA, some NBA Finals matchup. So, man, huge news, fun. July can't get here soon enough. Technically, by the time we talk to you guys again, it'll be June. Any final thoughts before we go enjoy the weekend? A lot of sports to watch.
If you don't have anything to watch, I know playoffs are kind of coming to a slow close as teams are finishing out series, but softball's fun. I think it's one of the most pure sports out there as far as there's not a lot of bets going on, so there's not a lot of hands in the pot, if you catch my drift. So it's fun. It's real. Check that out. Baseball's coming up or finishing up. Hockey's finishing up on a lot of series. So a lot of stuff to watch. Demon Slayer anime's coming out, so I'm going to check that out. Fun packed weekend. Take a break next week with some vacay. But
yep. Don't forget, guys, check us out on the social medias, facebook.com/The Cine-Men Movie Podcast. Instagram is all one word, The Cine-Men Movie Podcast. X is at Cine-Men405, or you can email us at cinemen921@gmail.com. Don't forget, Sunday, May 19th, we talk and review Dune Part 2, 6 p.m. right here on Emaswa Productions YouTube channel and Facebook Live. I think that'll do it. Don't forget, June 7th, I believe that's a Friday, Saturday, 300. Come check us out, Rodeo Cinema, 300 for 300. Stockyards, Oklahoma City. That is Saturday, June 8th. So don't forget, check us out. Should be fun. Uh, Enjoy the NBA playoffs. Friday Night SmackDown is on right now, so check that out. We'll talk to you guys in a few weeks.
Later.